After yesterday's transfer special, we are back here today to start season number 4 at Rugby Town. I'm very excited for this. This season, expectations are high. I feel like we've got a really good squad, a young and hungry team. The question mark really is it all going to come together? Now, I'll be honest with you, I have played the first 2 league games of the season. The first was a 1-0 win against Banbury here. Good result, set-piece goal. Kind of glad it wasn't in the episode. It was just not a very interesting game, but we got 3 points. And after that game, I also opted to play the game against Chorley. Banbury and Chorley are 2 teams that I've already played a number of times during this save game. Chorley in cup competitions, Banbury in the league last year. In this game here, 2-goal lead early on, set-piece goal, things you love to see. Slate getting his nose on that one. Unfortunately, they did peg us back. In the end, though, we did manage to get a win in this game, and I kind of delayed these first 2 games of the season thinking, well, maybe I can add a few more signings to the team. Maybe I could add a centre-back to sort out things defensively. You might have noticed that Freckleton was playing at centre-back in this game. So to answer the question, have I signed a centre-back? Of course I haven't. Yeah, 2-2 this game was at half-time, by the way. Abbas, bit of magic on the near side. Crossed it. Oyatunde there. He scored. Good win. And with those 2 games played, we are here to kick off the season with the first live com of the year, sat in 5th place. One of our oppositions today are Scarborough Athletic. They had a media prediction of 9th at the start of the season. It's weird. The media prediction that you see on club profile screens is set in June when the season tick-over date happens. But of course, that's before any transfers happen. So the season preview gives us the live update on the promotion odds. As you can see here, Scarborough are in 2nd. They are a good team. Before all of that as well, we have got an away day to South Shields. They have a media prediction of 5th, are a very good team who have started the season slowly. Win these 2 games today, I feel like that's a statement of intent. Doesn't mean they're going to be easy, though. Now, although I've not signed a centre-back yet, that doesn't mean I'm not trying to make some signings. We're going to talk about all of these players right after we run the intro. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Park to Prem. Today is episode number 21, and you already know what it is. It's the start of season 4, the first episode. Transfer window is still very much open, and we are still very much trying to get transfers done, one of which might raise some eyebrows. Tommy Simkin, a goalkeeper. Now, yeah, hear me out. I know that Brian Okonkwo here is our key player as a goalkeeper, a very good player, but ultimately, we've sold him. We've got him back on loan for this year. So if there's a good goalkeeper out there, probably should be looking to get them in. Tommy Simkin here was playing for Stoke City, did play in the National League a couple of years ago and actually kept 18 clean sheets in 44 games. Last year, he struggled to step up in the League One division, of course, 2 levels above us. He was released by Stoke as a result of that. But if I compare him with Brian Okonkwo, he's just a better goalkeeper. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and sign Tommy. I am willing to pay him £525. We'll see if he signs and accepts that. Elsewhere, a couple of younger players that I'm trying to pick up. I think the most notable is Joe Richards. This guy has his contract expired at Radcliffe, who play in our own division. Last year, he played 34 league games. He's already played 2 games for them, and he's available as a free transfer. So at 17, of course, I'm going to sign him. Another striker who's perhaps a little bit more of a punt, and similarly to the previous player, would just go into the under-18s, is Karatas here. He is a Turkish under-18 international, was playing for Geesley. They released him, played 1 game for them. He just has some potential according to my staff, and well, why not try and sign him to sell him on in the future? And if the other 2 players were punts, this is the biggest punt of all punts. Bobby Joe Ballinger, fantastic name. Bobby Joe here, 17 years old, has been without a club for the last year. He was on my radar when he was released by Bristol City last autumn. However, he was injured at the time for 7 months. He is now fit. There are a queue of teams interested in signing him. Not sure he'll actually choose to join us. And like I said, it's just a punt. If he turns out good, fantastic. Looks like he has some good potential. The injury proneness is probably going to be something that holds him back, however. But if I could sign him on £40 a week, why not try and sign him on £40 a week? Oh, and if you were wondering about these other two transfers, Kevin Hughes and Ross Foreman, not trying to sign 46-year-olds, just trying to sign a new manager and coach for the under-18s team, because like I mentioned last episode, I want our under-18s team to be good this year. I'm really taking things seriously in the under-18 Division 3 Southwest. This is our division that we're in. Our affiliates Walsall are in this division. I'd like to go up. Bournemouth's under-18s are in this league, so it's probably going to be quite hard. Now, like I already mentioned, I've not found a centre-back yet. I'm still very much on the hunt for a centre-back. I'd love to sign one sooner rather than later, but at least to start the season, Freckleton has been playing at centre-back. A man who we signed last year has played frequently as a defensive midfielder. So far, he's got a 7.45 rating at centre-back, so maybe I should just play him there. It is his natural position, but I don't necessarily love him there. I feel like between him and Samuels, we've got two players who can defend pretty well, but maybe aren't the most, I don't want to say trustworthy centre-backs, but I want a more exciting centre-back. So far, they are doing the job. With that change there, Gucci has played at defensive midfielder, and, well, speaking of Gucci, he has just signed a deal on £400 a week. Lowered his squad status, that lowered his wage demands in turn, and I have been able to do the same with a few other players. Rio McAvoy, now listed as a fringe player, hoping that might result in him asking for less money when we want to renew his contract. And elsewhere, Sam Kelly, I lowered the playing time of. He didn't like that. So, yeah, he was an important player. With respect to Sam here, he's not that important anymore. Just looking at the rest of the starting 11, this is how we've been starting the season. Of course, Ricky D at right back, official nickname of Ricky D. You might notice his photo is a little less blurry than it was last episode. In my head, the canon is that we took a new picture of him. In reality, I selected a different new gen picture pack face, one that wasn't as blurry and as upsetting. This guy now knows how to play right back, thank God. So yeah, he's had a good little start to time out on that hand side. In terms of the actual midfield, you might have noticed I've shuffled things around a little bit. And Ngoma probably is a better advanced playmaker than Pritchard. But the issue with Pritchard is he cannot defend. He cannot do anything from a defensive point of view with his two tackling. Whereas in Ngoma, yes, he's not exactly a naturally made centre mid on support. But actually, with 7 tackling, I feel like he can kind of do a job. Whilst his physicals are lacking, we're training him to play roaming playmaker in the hope that that will just help with his overall development. And within our midfield setup, I feel like with Gucci dropping deeper, this is the best way to line things up. And Ngoma at centre mid on support. He is also left-footed, which is nice because we've never had a left-footed centre mid before. Pritchard then plays as the advanced playmaker, and Hull Chuddy, he's just still doing his thing at right centre mid. You might have noticed up front as well, if you were worried that with McAvoy kind of dropping out the first 11 and also Gillen dropping out the first 11, we were going to lose the ongoing trend of having strikers that look off to the side like this. Fret not, Adam Abbas, there was only one picture of him on the internet. I found it. He looks sideways. So, yeah, the old habits of rugby strikers not looking straight at a camera, they're going to continue at least for the next few years. Speaking of Abbas, by the way, he and Oyatunde have got a goal each to start the season. Karan Samuels and Slate with the other goals. They've not exactly been flowing with 4 goals in the first 2 games. Would love to get a few more today, including in this first game at Mariners Park against South Shields. Feels like a while since the last one. We get to go do an away day. So for today's away day, we well and truly are heading north. Perhaps the most north we've had to head all year long. We are heading to South Shields, which if you're wondering, is there a North Shields? Of course there is. They don't have a football team, as far as I'm aware. South Shields FC, I'm looking for a square bit of grass. It's got to be here somewhere. At the risk of sounding like an idiot, I didn't realise South Shields was so big. Like, they've actually got a load going on. They've got Little Haven, nice little hotel. We've got The Sea, another hotel. A yachting lake, because of course you would. Where is the stadium? I'll admit it, did have to Google it. It's off to the side here. Next to an industrial estate and a railway line. Where non-league football is back, baby. They've got a 3G pitch next door. I'm looking for car parking. I can't see any car parking. I guess you just park on the building site. I am concerned by the lack of roads around the ground. The stadium itself looks quirky from above. Can we see anything of the inside? Oh my gosh, we actually can. I'm not going to pretend it's the prettiest stadium from the outside. I feel like they could have painted it a more exciting colour and included some signage or something. But I mean, at least it's a stadium. There is 1 dot in the stand and then 1 on the pitch. We'll go for the 1 in the stand first. And in fact, it is drone footage, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my word. When was the last time we had drone footage? First things first, I love the floodlights, circular floodlights, quirky. Give them a point for that. No idea what these buildings are next door, by the way. They do somewhat detract from things. The stadium itself just feels like it's at the end of an industrial estate, which is an odd location. But in terms of the actual stadium, you've got lovely little kind of gazebo summer house thing going on. One stand. Whatever this is, I mean, what is this? They just built a building next to the ground. I guess it's the old clubhouse. It's probably the oldest part of the stadium, but it does look odd. Park benches outside, everyone like that. And then just no stand this side. You know when in Football Manager where you see the stands with no, or the grounds with no stands on one side and it looks silly? This is what it looks like. I'm afraid to report the other dot was just the same drone footage. But look, it's actually in 3D on Google Earth, which does kind of surprise me. What a cute little stadium. I'm not sure about the colour of the stand, but it is one of the more impressive non-league stands we've seen. They even got a little box for me to go and view the game from the TV camera. Still don't know what to think of this building. I mean, besides the location, which is somewhat depressing and the lack of car parking, I actually quite like this non-league ground. Park benches, a bit of non-league quirkiness with the whole clubhouse thing, the summer house next door as well, circular floodlights, Mariners Park. 6 out of 10. Car park let me down, but there was stuff to like, which I appreciate because the last few away days have been blooming tragic. Anyway, away day done, we're going to get straight into this game. We did play midweek against Chorley. I have rested the player since then. Fitness levels are still good because it's the start of the season. And Gomer, of course, had that really long-term injury before we signed him. Missed a lot of pre-season and signed for us very late. He has not had to do a fitness test anymore, but he is still a player we need to keep track of. The kind of player who, if he gets a knock, I will take him off. He is undoubtedly the best player in our team. He's the new Miles Maycock. I'm going to hope that he can add to his 1 assist in 2 games he's got to start the season. So whilst we have won our first 2 games this season, they were both just by a single goal margin. I'd like to win more convincingly here, but away from home against South Shields is not going to be easy. They had a really high expectation going into the season. They have started slowly. Abbas might have an early chance here, and I'll tell you what, Adam Abbas is going to find the back of the net. Ricky D gets an assist too. The 2 new boys linking up on their live commentary debut. Things you love to see. The ball was given away cheaply here. Switcher play by Wilson was, well, a gamble. Nice win, and then Abbas just turns his man and tucks it into the bottom corner. Okay, they've got a long throw specialist on the far side. He's launched it in. We've got it away. And Gomer looking to Gomer long. And Oyatunde is going to take it down. Chose not to leave the club and force him with Oyatunde. We respect him for that. We respect him. But picking out the back of the net. Abbas links up with him again. They scored a very similar goal against Chorley. 2-0. Oyatunde's doing a little dance at the edge of the box. He's having a lovely time. And it's an incisive counter-attack, isn't it? That long throw, they threw players forward for. Abbas gets to the byline, squares it. It's a really good finish. Abbas with a goal and an assist already. There was a reason he was listed as the potential top goal scorer of this division in the pre-season item that we saw. He's a phenomenal striker, taking the step down after being released by Burnley. Did look into his career a little bit in real life. He actually played for Manchester United's academy, but was released before he turned 16. So clearly he's a player who's got a little something about him. He's shown that so far here as Hull Chuddy takes it down. I think Abbas is offside. He was offside. Keeper makes his first stop of the game. Won't even count for the stats. Hull Chuddy's picked up a knock in this game. He's struggling to run it off. Whilst he's playing okay, it's just not worth risking him, is it? Kelly, on you come, my friend. I'm sorry I made you unhappy saying you were going to be an impact sub, but you now have a chance to make an impact. It's been pretty pleasing to see the start to the season that we've had. Obviously, we're on course for a 3rd win in a row potentially here, but considering that we only brought in 3 new players, Ricky D, Abbas, and of course Ngoma. The rest of the players are players we're very well versed with. They've all stepped up superbly. And I thought Gucci was going to step up and unleash a goal of the season contender. His shot goes over. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this half. It's not like we've dominated this game and completely ran riot. We've just taken the 2 chances that came our way. We've limited their opportunities. A 3rd goal before half-time really would be the misery compiler. If they were to get a goal back, maybe the door opens. Maybe that changes the team talk slightly. CJ Clark gets the ball for them. Freeman dinking it down the line. Caron Samuels is going to read it, though, and maybe look to get it forward here. Ricky D, back to Caron Samuels. This is a critical moment you'd feel in this game. 10 seconds left of the game, and we're giving the ball away from them and maybe giving them a chance to score before the break. James wide to Wilson on this near side, or rather the Far side. Near side to me. I'm on the far side as manager. Technically correct. We've given away the ball at the back. Goes down in a heap. And Ricky D, you got an assist earlier. Former Brighton youngster, we've brought him in. He got sent off in his pre-season friendly debut. He's given away a penalty. Brian had a chance to save us. Hasn't saved us. Suddenly it's 2-1. Didn't mention it before they scored. Can mention it now. I was actually feeling quite optimistic about the potential of a clean sheet. Yeah, that has gone now, hasn't it? Gonna tell the players I'm far from pleased. Abbas is uncertain and unhappy. Let's just have a little chat with him. He's been our best player so far. I'm gonna tell him he's playing well, and now he is calm. Gonna let him do his meditation in the corner of the dressing room. Ricky D gave away a penalty and the game still has him on a 7.0 rating. Make of that what you will when it comes to ratings in Football Manager. I feel like if you don't get a goal or an assist as an outfield player in the final third, you just don't get a good score. And if you're a defender and you concede a goal, you just won't get a good score unless you got an assist. The rating system feels somewhat flawed. As I ramble away and rant, there's only 20 minutes left here. And Goma's not had the best of games here. I think I'm going to move Gucci forward, move Freckleton forward, and then I'm going to bring in Jordan Talon at centre-back. It's a little bit of a shuffle required with the bench, but of course, this year, 5 subs does mean we are going to have to be a bit more selective with our changes. Okay, there's 7 minutes left to this game. Hamilton is on in the final third. Slate is over this corner. He's going to whip it in. Freckleton's header doesn't go goalwards. Talon off the bench can only head over. I really would like that second goal just to give me a nice calm few minutes to end this game. Statistically, we've been on top. 64% of the ball is nice, but possession doesn't win you football matches. We conceded right before half-time. Please don't tell me we're going to concede right before full-time as well. There is, 70 seconds left here? Still on the attack. Slate at left-back tries to square it. Gucci in pursuit, just running the corner. Time waste at this point, Gucci. He lays it inside to Freckleton, who's caught with the ball. We gave away a penalty before the break, and I'm terrified they're going to score again, and we are going to switch off with minutes to spare. Knocks it round his man. Ricky D doesn't make a tackle. It's blocks in the middle. Wilson with a chance maybe to pull the trigger. Slate makes half a tackle. Okonkwo collects it. Brave, everyone. That is not how I wanted to watch that game play out towards the end. A not exactly action-packed game. Finishes 2-1. We'll take the win. I don't know if we necessarily deserved it on the balance of play. Had a lot of the ball, but definitely slowed down in the second half. Gonna tell the players I'm not happy with the overall performance, but secretly, deep down inside, I am just thinking to myself, it's good to get 3 points. Unfortunately, Kings Lynn and Scarborough also got 3 points. They are the only other 2 teams who have won all 3 games to start their season. And just as a reminder, that won't be the case in a week's time because we are taking on Scarborough. We can't both win. Holchitty's going to be out for 6 to 8 days, so he might not be available for the next game. May have to rotate things slightly. Similarly to last year, the start of the season does always feel a bit more action-packed with lots of games in the month of August. Good news is we have got a week between games now. So I'm going to go rest up the players. We are at home against Scarborough Athletic, a team who in the last 4 years have finished 8th or higher. The last 3 years, they've made the playoffs. They're a good team. They're going to be difficult. They've won all their games to start the year. More convincingly than we've won ours. Let's go see if we can get one over on them. I've never really taken in Scarborough Athletics badge before. A seagull with just no battle, no victory behind it. And then Scarborough in really tiny text to the left. I can't work out if it's my favourite football badge ever or my least favourite ever. Also, they play at Flamingo Land Stadium. Flamingo Land, amazing theme park in the north of England. If you know, you know. So I have made some transfers in the last week. The most notable, I think, is Joe Richard. So I am going to be playing it in the under-18s. This guy is a very good player, has been tearing it up in the National North. Probably could have him training with the first team and make him available for the under-18s or look to load him out. Yeah, he looks really, really good. But I do want to see our under-18s team do better. They've got off to a good start to their season. They've won their first 2 games in the under-18s Division 3 Southwest. Hopefully, they're going to get promoted. And I feel like Joe Richards could probably help them with that. Bobby Joe, the most injury-prone player perhaps in the world, is also at the club. I say he must be very injury-prone because it's a super red injury-prone icon and he has just missed the last 7 months. It was why he was released by Bristol City. But let's hope he stays fit. He could develop into a good player with some decent potential, but not expecting the world from him. Tommy Simkin, I have the option to confirm the signing of. I've not done it yet. I'm still umming and ahhing about, do I really need to replace Brian? I mean, ultimately, Brian is here on loan for 1 year, so I'm going to have to replace him at some point. Simkin does feel like a pretty obvious choice, but do I need to spend £500 on a new goalkeeper? I mean, I say that. We can definitely afford it. I'm just umming and ahhing. Let me know if you'd sign him down in the comments. Oh, and if you're wondering about centre-backs, I've still not found any centre-backs. We've got all these different centre-backs that I've had on trial. Not going to sign any of them. All their trials end in the next day or two. I've just stashed them in the under-21s. And to be honest, Freckleton and Samuels, at least to start the year, haven't been absolutely tragic. I mean, you think back to the previous game, we only conceded from a penalty. The game before that, obviously we conceded 2. The game before that was a clean sheet. We've not been terrible. Of course, I do want to keep the winning run going here. Scarborough have won all 3 of their games to start the year. They have a better goal difference than us. They are second favourites for promotion. Have just noted here, the odds have really swung in our favour even more so. When you look at the Media Dream 11, there's a sea of our players here. I do feel like we should be getting promoted. If we want to do it, winning the game like this one today is important. There was a question mark over if A-Hole Chiddy would be fit for today's game. Good news, everyone. Fitness test not required, so he is in the team. Starting 11 is the exact same as the previous game. No rotation needed with the week's rest. We're going to get straight into things. This is the kind of game where if we were the away team, I perhaps wouldn't be going into it with lofty expectations. But given the fact we're at home against one of our promotion rivals, it would appear at this early stage, and a win would be important. We've hit the woodwork there within the first 3 minutes. Addons, he's been on a goal-scoring spree. Nearly added another there. Halfway through this first half, we've had 70% of the ball. We're having a lot of possession, I've noticed this year. We're not necessarily creating a ton with it. 1 shot on target. We've dominated the game through the middle of the pitch, and yet we can't find a breakthrough. Corner here, though, opens up an opportunity. No Jay Cartwright to aim for, but Karon Samuels is there, the centre-back, for his 2nd goal of the season. I don't know how I feel about the fact that Slate has been given the assist here. They're left centre-back / left wing-back for us, mostly. Headed it goalwards. It was saved by Bolt. It fell to Samuels. We've scored. Also, it's not Bolt, it's Bot. To be fair, he did look like a robot in goal there. He was rubbish. That was a way better burn in my head. When I said it out loud, I realised it wasn't nearly as good. 2 minutes left of the half. Nothing has happened in this game. It's still just 1-0. That 1 goal scoring opportunity for us, the major chance of the game. Scarborough have not shown up in this match. We've dominated possession. It's like their players are already on the beach. They're already thinking about how they're going to spend their afternoons after the match at the Scarborough, well, I was going to say the Scarborough arcade machines. I realise we're the home team here. They've got to drive home before they can go to the arcades. They might as well get leaving now. They've been second best in everything. Saying all of that, it's a 1-goal lead. It's a precarious lead. It's far from done. You have to expect them to do better in this second half as well. Slate's going to lay it to Freckleton here as we look to knock it round the back. Gucci, the man who likes to stitch the play together, lays it to A-Hole Chiddy, who's going to make a run into the wide area, lays it to Abbas, and Goma now with it. He spreads it to Pritchard. Lovely build-up play here. If there's end product, it would be a goal of the season contender. Slate, Oyatunde hits the outside of the post. Scarborough yet to have a shot on target. It's not been a great game for them. Both their defensive mids are on bookings. I was about to make a sub and then a highlight began and Goma dinking it. Pritchard under it. It's cleared away. Is Gucci going to keep this in? I feel like I need to make some subs here. A 2nd goal whilst it doesn't feel like it's needed right now. This is Football Manager. A 1-goal lead is never safe, especially in this kind of game where they've done nothing. Ricky D's on the far side. Ricky, what can you do here, my friend? He whips it in. Oyatunde gets his noggin on it, and it's 2-0. Both our wing-backs have assists in this game. It's like the ghost of Wakaza Zam is still very much within this Rugby Town squad, inspiring our fullbacks to whip in balls like that. Great header by Oyatunde, doubles our lead. Now I can make some subs and be calm. Abbas has had a really good goal-scoring start to the season, but he's not really shown up in this game here. I'm going to bring in McAvoy for what I think might be his first appearance of the season. It might actually be his 2nd. Elsewhere, A-Hole Chuddy's not been at his best. Sam Kelly on you come. The temptation to bring on Hamilton is very much real. I need to give Norman Hamilton minutes, but Oyatunde's just scored. Be a bit rude, wouldn't it, to take him off? I have been thinking about it. Of course, at the moment, we only get those 5 subs. And this year in Football Manager, earlier on in the year, before the most recent patch, goalkeepers got injured a lot. They don't really seem to get injured anymore, at least not to the same extent they used to. Very, very tempted to swap out the goalkeeper on the bench for an outfield player, especially with a 5-man bench. I feel like it would just offer us a bit more flexibility. Nothing has really changed in this game since we've got that 1 goal, so Hamilton can come on. But yeah, I'd love to know, have you noticed the goalkeeper injuries going down in the recent patch? Are you leaning away from having a goalkeeper on the bench? I feel like when you've got more than 5 players on the bench, you can do it. When you don't, maybe you can afford to not have a goalkeeper. I'll tell you what, Hamilton nearly scored a goal of the season contender there. His shot hit the crossbar. It's the last bit of action for the half. Weird game, not a classic game. We had an XG of 3.15. It didn't really feel like that to me, but the ratings across the board from all our players, pretty sensational. Very happy with that. That is a great result. It's a clean sheet as well, which is nice for us to get. And with that, we go up to second, still behind Kings Lynn, Kings Lynn, quite a good team, I feel like. Currently first, they weren't predicted to be this high, to be fair to them. Once upon a time in the National League, in this universe, they've been on a steady decline, but they've started this year annoyingly well. Andrew Slate, man of the match. Give that man a coconut. What a performance by him. He might not be able to run very quick. He might only have 5 dribbling. But this man, you know what? For our level, he's very much a functional wing-back. And at 16, he's going to get better and better, I hope. I thought after I dodged the Banbury game and didn't do it and then it finished 1-0, it had been a really wise decision. I don't feel like either of the games today were particularly classics. They were just, well, un-rugby-like performances. From the perspective of, there wasn't a load of goals, there wasn't a load of drama. We just kind of got the job done. But given what the task is this year of hopefully getting promoted, just getting the job done is good with me. Let me know if you'd pick up Tommy Simkin. In the meantime, between now and next episode, I'm going to go out and try and find centre-back, because I still don't love our centre-back duo, even if they are playing really well. It just doesn't feel sustainable. Not entirely sure when we're going to be back next time. We do take Kings Lynn on in a week's time, but I feel like that game is a little bit too soon to do as part of next episode, even if they are unbeaten at the top of the table. It's still very, very early on in the season, of course. Next time out, we'll come back in a couple of months, I imagine, see if we can get an FA Cup run going, although we've got a load of qualifying rounds to go through. And to end your week, hopefully, we'll have some high-stakes games, and maybe I will have signed a centre-back. That would be really nice. Take things easy, have a lovely rest of your Thursday, and until next time, it's me, Jack. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.